it's finally here. Prep is officially started for the 2026 season. So to start the YouTube off, I've not particularly planned what I'm going to be filming across prep. It'll just be once a week kind of job. But this first one is just going to be me kind of covering a bit of a catch up because I've not posted anything for a while about what I've done this whole off season. So it's been 3 years since I've competed, or 2.5. It'll be 3 by the time I step on stage. So I thought I'd just cover kind of what's happened in that time to get me to this point. Because a lot of people tend to assume that kind of you start prepping for it when prep starts, when actually a lot of the work is done in the off season. Prep is just like the icing on the cake, really. So most of the work has already been done. So as I said, competed in 23, kind of around May, June time, so I'll prep through winter. And I'm doing the same again this time. So I'll compete May, June time, depending on what specific dates the shows are, which we'll find out. But started prepping now, so we've got 28 weeks, or had at the very start, 28 weeks until May. And then we'll compete as many shows as we can in that time. I want to do plenty of shows. I don't want to dart for 28 weeks to do one show because you're on stage for 10 minutes. It's a hell of a lot of work for not a lot. So I want multiple shows. We've just got to wait for the dates to be announced. In that time, so my lowest of prep last time, I'll try and find some photos to put up or maybe some stage footage, is my lowest of prep last time was 66 kilos. So on stage, I'm not very heavy. I mean, I'm 5'7" and natural, so I'm not a very big natural. So 66 kilos at the lowest. So on stage, carved up, I'd have been, I don't know, 67, 68 kilos. This off season, I brought Ben on board, I think just over 6 months ago now, and he's going to be taking me through my prep this time. But with Ben's help in these last few months, we've pushed me up to 93 kilos at my heaviest. So a good 20 odd kilos, 25, 26 kilos over stage weight. It's heavier than I expected to have gone at the start of the off season, but it doesn't look anywhere near as bad as I thought. The last off season I peaked at 80 kilos, which felt heavy at the time. And when Ben said, "Oh, I want to," because I got up to 85, and then Ben said, "I want to take you heavier," I thought I'd look a lot worse and a lot sloppier than I am. So actually, like, the 93 kilos isn't a terrible 93 kilos. All it means is that this is going to be a more aggressive prep, because we're going straight in with that 26 kilos to lose in about 28 weeks. It will be a little bit more aggressive, but to be honest, my body doesn't like being at 93 kilos. It's quite hard to get to stay this heavy. It doesn't take a lot of like I miss a couple of meals for a couple of days and I'll drop a couple of kilos pretty quick. So the first half of prep should be some pretty rapid fat loss, and it won't probably start getting a bit iffy until I get to like the mid 70s and below. But as I said, brought Ben on board 6 months ago. There's a few things that he changed compared to what I'd normally do. So typically I've done high volume, high frequency work with more like working with some reps in reserve. Ben definitely falls on more of the higher intensity, more sets to failure, but on some body parts lower volume. So there's been some slight changes, which I knew going in, and I thought it would be a good thing because I've been training long enough now where progress is slow. But with 6 months to go until prep, maybe a little bit of novelty in that training might just get that last little bit out of me, build that last little bit of muscle before we went into prep. So hopefully it's paid off, and I didn't bring him on too late. But with a 3-year off season, I have gradually got heavier all the way across. I think I had 2 kind of mini cuts in between, just because of other events that were on that I needed to be slightly lighter for, like some hiking stuff where I didn't want to be too heavy. So I've just done a couple of little diets along the way. But yeah, pretty consistently just got heavier across the 3 years. Other than that, I mean, what we focused on, because in the off season, as you get heavy, you actually start to look a bit worse at a certain point, is aesthetics become less of the focus and it's more about gym performance. And I'm by far the strongest I've ever been. Obviously being this much heavier helps, but in terms of like pound for pound, I think I'm probably better off. So I think deadlift wise, I've added about 50 odd kilos to my deadlift. Again, quite a good chunk of that coming in the last 6 months with some of Ben's program, and just that change of style just saw some more strength progress, I think. He also, in the last 6 months, training frequency's gone down. So rather than training chest twice a week, it's been one, but volume's been equated. So there's been some pretty brutal sessions the last 6 months, which has probably definitely squeezed a bit more out of me. And it'll be very interesting to see how much of that kind of newish strength we can hold on to as prep goes along. Because the trick for us is we need to be maintaining performance through prep to be confident we're not losing too much muscle. If strength drops off or training intensity drops, again, I'm not that big in the first place, so if I lose more muscle than we have to, I'm going to look pretty stringy and like I haven't improved on stage. So that'll be interesting to see. Other stuff, it's generally just across the board. Despite being heavier on bodyweight exercises, I'm stronger. On any big compounds, again, I think the deadlift has gone up a lot, but then squat and bench have gone up similarly in terms of like percentage gained. All my dumbbell pressing, I'm just a bit more stable, more reps, technique's still pretty solid. And across the 3 years, other than some very slight niggles, I've not had any major injuries either. So we've managed to keep me injury free, largely. There was a slight bicep issue earlier this year. It was very, very minor. It took a couple of weeks of rest to deal with, and it's sorted. So very happy with the lack of injuries. Not had any like major elbows, or knees have been fine. Like back's all been good. So training has been very, very consistent. I will admit, food getting up to 93 kilos was a chore. It was a lot of food all the time. Which is why actually this start of prep has been pretty nice, because that drop in food was a bit of a relief. Before kind of the hunger kicks in, it's like, oh, I don't feel like a fucking water buffalo all the time. So that's pretty good. So I'm confident there's definitely some more muscle under here. It's just a case of what does that look like once I get lean. Aiming for roughly similar stage weight, because one, I've got a weight cap in some federations of about 69 kilos, because I'm in classic physique rather than the open. I don't think I'll put on enough muscle where I can't get below 70. Again, being 5'7", if I'm over 70, like I'll be a pretty fucking big juicy boy. So all it means is if we're similar stage weight but there's more muscle, as Ben has already said, he wants me coming in even more peeled than I was last time. Sometimes it can be easier the second time round just because your body's been there before. And also your management in terms of hunger and stress and everything's a bit better because you know what to expect. However, because it's more aggressive prep, it'll be interesting to see what we have to do to get there in time. Again, without the help of anabolics, we plan on being ready early as well, so we're going to have to be pretty aggressive. But it'll be fun. Again, I had a pretty smooth sailing prep last time. My body responded very, very predictably. And to be honest, if anything, I'm in a better position now because although it's more aggressive, I'm not working as many hours. I work closer to home. I work from home a little bit more than I did. And generally things are just a little bit less sporadic and fewer hours, less stressful. So we're in a good spot for prep. So again, should hopefully be some relatively smooth sailing as smooth as preps can be. Obviously they get ropey, but no external issues that I can predict. Other than that, so that's kind of the technicalities. Pushed up to, I think, about-ish 4,000 calories if you average training, non-training days, to get up to 93. This first food drop of prep we've dropped to, again, an average of the low 3,000s, which has already started a bit of a weight drop. But I got down last time to 66 kilos, still on like 2,100 calories, and not a lot of cardio. So again, it'll be interesting to see where we have to take food and cardio this time. Work-wise, what else has happened? Because, like I said, I'm in quite a different spot now. So about just over a year ago, started Prevail, which there was no issues with where I worked before. I still work with the same types of clients. I'm still on good terms with the previous gyms. But I'm just around more people within the bodybuilding, powerlifting kind of sphere. So there's a lot more like-minded people training. Ben's the owner of the gym, so he also gets to see me in person during prep, which will be quite useful to have just that set of eyes in person the whole time. It also means I can't skip anything because he'll know because he's in the gym. So it'll also be that extra level of accountability for me. with it being a little bit more aggressive, I might need it. But yeah, so in that time, also started working with a little bit of strength sports, so some beginner and like first timer powerlifting and strongman. Also helped run a strongman comp here. So definitely kind of veered slightly more towards strength sports side of things compared to before, which I think will only help because it's a lot more like-minded people. They kind of understand the extremes of bodybuilding. They understand the kind of intensity in the atmosphere you need to progress. So the training environment's very, very good. Also with working with other competitors is, they kind of know what to expect in terms of like, what's he going to train like? What's their food going to be like? What mood are they going to be in? What do they need to be like during training sessions? There'll just be a lot less kind of people constantly asking questions because they have no idea what the fuck you're doing or why you're doing it. Alongside that, as well as some strength sport stuff, also taken on the local rugby club as their S&C coach. Started working with some MMA boys around Apex. And then, to be honest, in terms of like clients, I'm working with everything from ultra endurance to motorsports to strength sports. I've done ice hockey, done basketball, football, gymnastics. I've done working with a lot of different sports now, which is great. I think it keeps me on my toes. It's very, very interesting, and it keeps me on top of like education as well. So, done a couple of conferences, a couple of seminars, just to kind of listen to a lot of different experts in a lot of different fields. So I feel like I'm a much broader coach than I was, because I've just worked with so many different sports now, which only transfer into each other, gains you new perspective, introduce you to other coaches and different ways of thinking. So I think as a coach, I'm also a lot more, obviously more experienced because it's 3 years down the line and I'm still coaching, but just a lot more open to different training methods, different ideologies, different approaches, particularly, again, as well as loads of different sports. I have worked with as young as 8 up to like in their 80s. So even just from that front, I've just been exposed to a lot more. Other than that, to be honest, so going forwards, still working with competitive clients. So alongside my prep, we've got people doing powerlifting comps, strongman comps, clients doing races, got junior athletes coming up for scholarships. So luckily, I think during prep, I'm going to have other things to stay focused on, so I'm not just sat thinking about prep the whole time, because when you dwell in it, it tends to make everything feel a bit worse. So I think I'm still going to manage to keep pretty busy all the way through prep, and that'll go a long way for just keeping me occupied, and keeping me on track, as well as just trying to grow the business, both the gym and my own coaching business. We've got some pretty exciting things planned. So again, alongside prep, there should be some pretty good business progress. And to be honest, I mean, like I said, I'll try and get some footage over this for various little bits. But if people want to see specific things, let me know. If you have got this far, thank you, because I've got a boring voice. And yeah, I'll try to keep these to once a week, film something different each week, whether it's training sessions or if we're off doing something for the gym. So like this weekend, we've got a stall at the local fireworks, so we're going to take some kit down, try and have some fun, try and get some people involved. Maybe try and get some footage of that for next week's video. But I think that covers everything without just waffling. So see you next time.